Didn't know I did.
I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah. Taylor found any, thanks.
Taylor.
With the C, I don't know what something
No, he's got it. Do it again. Figure out how to pronounce it. We're not there yet, buddy.
That was an okay try.
Yeah, we're getting there. Just a minute.
Yeah,
Listen to the conversation that's going on.
There's a long E in the middle of the word.
Listen to what we're talking about here. I don't want it yet. No.
Embryonic part.
Too generic. We need that C word that Taylor's trying to pronounce.
He's going to Google Translate.
Oh, I know what this is now.
It's the belly button.
Be certain it's not the belly button. That's where you store lint.
Yes.
I don't even know what that is. I know what lint is, but I don't know.
Huh?
Cotyledon.
There you go. That's how you say that. The cotyledon is an energy storage unit inside of a seed of a plant. That's what provides the energy needed for the plant to sprout. When that's gone, what does the plant run on?
Photosynthesis.
Yes. Sunlight, which the plant uses photosynthesis to convert sunlight to energy in the form of... Did you say that? Sugar. Do we know which specific sugar? Because there's like 11 different sugars.
No. What? White sugar.
What is this? 11 different
Brown sugar.
What? And if you get the opportunity, and you should take the opportunity, if you look at Jamin's seeds that are in the lid itself, he's got to, not now, Trevor. Look at it later. You can actually see the cotyledon. Fruit dust.
Oh.
Sucrose.
I don't think I see enough phones out on the tables.
Wait.
Do I?
Crap. Wait, okay, so Isabel, don't just start throwing out names of crosses. I looked it up. But you said one and then you said the other. As soon as you went by the look on his face, and I'm pretty certain he wasn't even looking at you.
As a result of photosynthesis, the sugars glucose, fructose, and sucrose are produced.
Very good.
Awesome. So that's more than one.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they're in different parts of the plant.
High glucose corn syrup.
Yep.
Right? Fructose is found in fruits. And what's the other one? Sucrose?
That's found in soups.
Nice guess.
I'm with him.
So, what part of the plant is the fruit?
The flower, the meat of it. The fruit part of it?
Part of the plant is the fruit.
I don't know what you'd call
After
it.
the
When
flower
it grows
dies.
a flower, then it's whatever produces that holds the seed.
Okay, so maybe I should ask you the question, what produces the fruit?
Flower. The whole.
Do you remember when you had to label the parts of the plant on your pretest?
That we
That you all missed. What part of the fruit, what part of the plant is the fruit?
The fruit part of the plant.
The flower, and then the fruit, and then the seed.
Hi, Paige.
When I used to lecture and give quizzes and tests all the time, I used to draw a picture.
Which looks very similar to the pretest that they have.
Yeah.
Probably does. Kind of like that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Somebody's reading.
I was listening.
I will answer the question.
The female part produces the seed.
Fine.
Or is that the male part?
Female.
Oh, but I just
Those
wanted
curly.
That is definitely the female part.
Now, a part of this unit, a part of the expectations of this unit is that you could label this.
Page found out now.
That's the answer.
Who hasn't answered for me yet?
He's cheating. He's looking at your
I know.
picture.
Who hasn't answered for me yet? What part of the plant is the fruit?
Hey, I got that one right.
One of you is saying pistil, one is saying ovary, and if you were in Deadwood in 1892, they would be connected.
pistil is a part of the ovary. The ovary is a part of the pistil.
Are you sure?
No, pistil is a part of the ovary.
Yeah.
Pistil's the big waist thing.
Yeah, I know what I'm talking about. It's not gum.
Or whatever it is.
He just likes sticking stuff in his mouth.
So, can anybody label any of this without looking at your computer?
No, they can't. We know that to be a
That
fact.
part that right there is the ovary.
I know. We should try that now.
This part?
Yeah.
Mason.
If we made this into a basketball, this basketball down here is the ovary. True or false?
True.
Are we just going along with it because Alex acts like he knows what he's talking about?
But it has
I'm
the
going
eggs on
to
it.
because
Mason,
Alex
do you have
said
an
so.
answer?
Yes.
Mason has the
I am
answer.
100%
Mason says what?
Confirm or deny what Alex has said.
Go, that is a plan.
Sweet.
Yes.
Good job.
Okay, wait a second. Alex says this is an ovary, and you just said that kind of makes sense.
No,
Why?
I said that doesn't make sense. What you said about basketball.
This round-ish part down here,
Yeah.
Complete
That's a
the circle
basketball.
there.
Oh, okay.
below the skinny part.
Okay.
Isn't that about the same size as a basketball even?
Yeah, sure.
If that's an ovary, what are the red things?
A youth
Ovules.
basketball.
Finger grips.
Ovules.
Yeah,
Laces?
That is so
Laces.
your fault. You went to the basketball room.
I know.
So now he went to football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, did you look like
Except Daniel said ovules.
No, he didn't. He did not say that.
I said
Oh,
ovules.
God.
No, he said
Ovary.
ovules.
He pronounced it with a long O. I corrected his pronunciation.
We have to correct Daniel's speech.
No, you don't.
And
And
spelling.
his spelling. All right, so if those are
You're never gonna correct
ovules
his spelling.
and it's within the ovary, I still don't think I have my question answered.
What's your question?
What part of the plant is the fruit?
Ovary.
No.
That's the plant dries up.
Haley, do you know?
No.
Daniel, I want some proof to
That makes
The
no
one that hangs
sense,
off the
though.
branch.
Miss Schneider hates me.
Welcome
I don't like
to the
being
world.
responsible.
Did you hear what Daniel said?
Mrs.
You
Schneider
hate it.
hates me.
No, he said it's the ovary because the rest of the plant dries up.
Does a plant have an ovary?
The
Or
flower.
are we just calling it that?
Guys, we're guessing on it.
Because we know that people have ovaries and we want to anthropomorphize everything.
Okay, I have proof. I have a picture that
Not at
lays
all.
me on the wall.
adapted from plants.
It's
Maybe.
called a.
What? It's called
Get out of here.
And I'll be honest with you guys, simply looking at the pictures on Google Images is not going to help you answer this question. I'm going to give you a picture labeling those parts, but understanding of those parts is not going to work.
Right.
Whoa.
So when I'm eating an apple, which is the fruit of an apple tree, what
Yep,
part of the plant am I eating?
The mature
The
ovary.
ovary. Yeah, the matured ovary.
And are we certain that it's actually an ovary and we're not just calling it that because people have ovaries?
No, it's actually
I
called
found
that.
proof.
I found proof on a website.
Go ahead, Haley, start first, and Daniel's either going to say you're right or wrong.
Well, on this website,
Nope, that's not the way we
Uh,
support
and
our
On what website that you found?
I don't, CMG Garden Notes.
Sound valid?
If it's a no, it's probably
Dot.
not.
Dot what?
.edu. It's a
Education.
Colorado State University thing.
Sounds
Much better.
reliable.
Much better.
Sounds reliable.
Keep
And
going, Haley.
there is a picture, and it shows a picture of like the plant, and it shows that there's an ovary on the bottom lip, like on the bottom of that, and then up here it says like what each of the things, parts of the plant do.
What does an ovary do?
Contains ovules or something sacs. Don't know what that word is.
Nonsense.
Where's this at?
Right there.
You can't say. Yes, you can.
Embryo.
No, that's a Y. Embryo.
Embryo. And that's it. For that.
These are either ovules or
Embryo.
embryo sex. What's an embryo?
Or a
It's
forming, like
or
a
it's
forming.
like the egg.
It's the
I
same
don't know,
thing
because
as an
like when you're
ovule.
like making a dinosaur or whatnot, it's like.
It goes straight to the dinosaurs.
Oh,
Daniel
okay.
wanted to add to Haley's discussion.
He did.
He did.
And I need to go to embryo. So
Okay.
They're called embryo.
Hold that thought, because I'm going to ask another question.
Ah,
I know.
We're going to hold that thought for a second. How many of you are drawing a picture and labeling it right now?
How many of you have your pre-test out and adding to it?
Should you be?
Go.
If I was you, I would have my computer on and my screen flipped around and my stylus out, and I would be
Why can't we
or
just do it on
just use
this?
You
this.
could.
good.
Daniel, go.
Do it on this. This is from homeguides.ssj.com. So
What does that mean?
Oh, look, I found my
it's a good
pre-test.
website. Trust me, okay?
All right.
Okay. So this website says that once the ovary is fertilized, the ovary contains eggs, and once the eggs are fertilized, then the flower withers and falls off, and the ovary begins to swell and becomes fruit.
All right, so, do you think you're done? We're not there yet, Jamie. Just have a seat, bud. All right, so this is, and remember, I'm visual here. I'm not science, right? So this is what I've heard from you. This part right here, this basketball section, is the ovary, which turns into a piece of fruit.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah.
All right, so what I'm seeing from you then is, and this is an apple, young people.
But you don't have a picture, do you? Is that what you're
Right.
asking? Yeah.
Not really an apple, I mean.
I think she gave you a
Easy
different
override.
There we go.
pre-test
There's my
than
apple.
everybody else. I think she
Are
gave
you
you a
then
different
telling me that
pre-test.
these eggs are the seeds that are inside of that?
Yes.
We're not going to make you memorize all
Because
this.
that's what I'm seeing. I don't know if that's reality.
Do this. The rest of them do.
It is definitely reality, Mrs. Schneider.
Okay?
So these
Yeah.
eggs
You just have to know
don't turn
this.
into the fruit.
They have to know more
No, they're
stuff.
the seeds within the fruit.
These are the
They get
seeds
fertilized by
within the fruit.
Because the egg is
They
the
get
best.
fertilized by the male part of it, and then they turn into seeds. And
I give up.
grows around it.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
That's why there's a core.
I don't know
Oh.
because I'm
I understand it.
Yeah.
Jamin, just sit and listen to the conversation that
Yeah.
we're having. We'll get to that in a minute. That's part of the project that we're doing. Are all plants?
not right now.
All right, that's a good question.
About
Don't
5
lose that.
minutes.
Write it down.
Or what?
Write it down so you don't lose it.
Okay? About
Okay.
5 minutes.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
and do you want me to repeat what I've said?
Yes.
Just now? So, what I'm hearing from what you're drawing is that this ovary, this basketball shape, turns into the piece of fruit. My question to them then was, do these eggs turn into the seeds within the apple?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Wait.
seeds and eggs are
I don't know.
pretty.
It kind of works like
They work
a person.
similarly.
Now we're not so. Now you're listening, and they're not so sure.
It's on the-
And also,
They're embryos, right?
you have eggs. Plants don't have eggs.
They're,
I already labeled it.
They hatch though.
They have ovules. Which is why I asked if plants have ovaries, because you have ovaries.
Yes.
And the answer is yes, they do.
Not all of them.
Down here, are there eggs in your ovaries?
On here, where would be
Yes.
the
Are there eggs in plants' ovaries?
No.
No.
on here, where would be the ovaries?
OVULES.
this thing right here.
Yes.
The basketball shape.
So the A would
It's
be
E.
over here.
It's E.
Oh, I got it right.
We have to, and I know the reason he makes the connection between this, because humans' ovaries create eggs. Well, actually, hold them,
Eggs.
right? So, does that same process work here? Are the ovules equal to the eggs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but my ovules, my eggs, turn into the fruit. Does this?
Probably not.
Okay.
Oh, it turns
No.
into the seeds.
Yes.
And I
It-
think that's an okay question.
If eggs turn into babies, do ovules turn into plants?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they turn into seeds.
Do seeds turn into plants?
Yes. Sometimes.
Is an ovule and a seed the same thing, or does an ovule turn into a seed?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If you did it right, they turn into seeds.
If you did
They
have
always
plants
turn
sterile.
into seeds, but it may not be a
If you
fertile
didn't,
seed.
plants are sterile.
All right, let's go with what Daniel said, because I think what you just said is the same thing. Taylor, didn't you just say sterile?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what let's backtrack. We have a black center part. This is a flower with the petals all pulled off. What are the petals for?
To get sunlight or
To attract bugs.
To attract them to pollinate.
Attract pollinators. And are flowers open at nighttime?
No, some
Yes.
are.
Some are.
Okay, the ones that close because.
They're scared of dirt.
Because then they'll get unwanted things.
I'll take care of that.
Attaboy.
Thank you. He needed that. You know some flowers close up at night, right?
Yeah.
And then they open up again in the morning?
Bird, right?
Why do they close?
Because there's no light.
There's
They
no
never
light for
saw
them
them
to grow, so
Do the petals absorb light?
no.
No.
So they don't open up so they can absorb light, so why would they close because there's no light?
Because there's not as many pollinators out at
So why are they closing? What's their function? Why did they close?
Alex thinks he has an answer.
So, well, one, they keep in heat. Two, if the wind comes, it doesn't blow away all the pollen.
And that's the P word. No, protection. Right? They close up to protect these little parts. Are these parts tougher than heck, or are they very sensitive and can get broken off?
They break off easy.
Yeah, these are flimsy little, not very strong things, so they close up for protection. So let's label the 3 different parts of that black thing, real quick like.
First of all, what's
Somebody
the
besides
entirety
Alex.
of the black thing?
The,
It's a pistol.
yeah, it is.
And I don't know how to do it.
That's
to-
because you're in the wrong color.
Oh, okay. You're gonna color code this. All right.
That's pistol without the O, because there's no barrel.
And then wait, so what's like
Yeah,
pistol
because
on
you
this
put down.
diagram?
The pistol that has the barrel, yes, has the O.
Gracie?
What's the pistol on this diagram?
What do you think?
See that?
What does it say?
Alex, come here and show me what that is.
Well, there's 3
Yeah.
different things. Going
Yeah.
to
Okay, you
the
see it
same
kind of looks
thing.
like egg-shaped at the bottom. What letter is it? And it looks like a vase.
What letters? That's a good answer.
Well, okay.
E is the over.
D.
Yeah. D is not the.
Yes, D is the pistol because you have that long, you have that egg shape and then the shaft up that opens out. You get the pollen that goes down.
But it's the whole thing.
Heather's ill,
Huh?
Okay.
not coming. So the pistol's the whole thing, so that's which letters?
C, D, and
Well, point, yeah, it's like
D and E. So what's this top circle-y thing-ish?
Stigma.
stick.
Yeah, I got that
So
one
are we
right.
bullying the plant or what?
Yeah.
You don't have a clue what that means, do you?
Which
Yeah,
one's
I
the
beat 'em
stigma
up.
now? Is that?
That's the top.
Okay.
I beat my
And
plant
then
up by
the
over water.
Wait a second, let's do a function while we're there. What's the function of the stigma?
So
To
C
Let
is
the
stigma.
pollen in.
Hold pollen? So the stigma is probably what adjective?
A doer.
That sounds like stigma? Starts with STI?
I got it.
Stick.
The stigma is probably sticky?
I kind of like his verb idea here. I know it's a noun, but say it again, louder, because he wasn't listening.
It's a doer. It does stuff.
Well, yes. Kinda.
So the stigma.
The stigma is probably sticky because that's where the pollen
It's
sticks. So what's this little blue dot?
Pollen.
Sure.
Little blue dot. And the pollen came from
That little circle.
the little ball at the end of this skinny little stick. What's the ball?
anther.
I thought the ball was yours.
Not that ball.
Oh.
The tennis ball.
Yes. And you have to say that with a lisp because that's an anther.
A-N-T-H-E-R. And the anther does
It's an
what?
anther.
The anther does
You see, they
what?
look like hot dogs. It was a hot dog.
Holds it,
Releases.
Wait.
releases it, creates it, dance with it.
No,
What?
it releases it and then it goes into the stigma and goes down.
Oh, I bet. You don't even know about
Sophomores.
You know what, Trevor?
Sophomores.
Yeah.
Sophomores.
Tiny crap.
doubt it.
Hey,
Okay.
I told you this is a ball on the end of this stick. Think about this. This is the anther. What's the pollen? Let's relate the pollen to something with
Sounds like
mammals.
Cool ball.
let's relate this to something with mammals, right?
Get it now. You're a genius.
Mammals have ovaries. Mammals have
Babies.
eggs. Plants have ovaries. Plants have ovules.
Babies.
Plants have pollen. Mammals have. Where does sperm come from? Where does pollen come from? Does the anther make it or hold it or pass it on?
Makes it and passes it on.
All three.
Here's the deal. I see an awful lot of you just kind of staring, not really understanding what's being going on. I see an awful lot of you just throwing things out, but not really looking some stuff up. You guys have access to tools. Use them. The more you can engage in the conversation, read it while you're online, and give answers, the better you will understand this stuff. If you just simply wait, and I know it, I'm looking at Eric over there, because Eric is sitting there and she's hearing stigma, pollen, anther, pistil, ovary does this, and she's getting all those words screwed up in her head because she's trying to memorize things.
Because that's what Erica's good
Right.
at.
And here's what I know Erica will do later. She'll write all of this stuff down, and then later on she'll look it up on the computer and hope she can remember what it all was. Do it now.
Her keyword in all of that was engage.
Yeah. Just
Listening and
go
learning
ahead.
is an
Look it
active
up.
process.
Yeah.
It's something you have to do. I can't do it to you.
I promise you, I don't think that you're on Netflix watching films while you are trying to figure out what the answer to things are. Because the more you can engage with this tool while you're having this discussion, the better off it sticks in your head, much like pollen will to the stigma.
And that's the reason that we don't have basketball practice on 15 different courts. We have basketball practice all at the same time in the same place. And Mason back there just got it because I started comparing plants to mammals.
Beavis and Butthead laughed.
Can I take your body away from you while you take a test?
No.
So if we're studying the parts of the human arm, should you not be touching this and saying bicep at the same time?
You could.
And touching this and saying tricep at the same time? And touching this and finding the bony part and saying olecranon process at the same time? Because can't you do this and this and this while you're taking a test? And if you do and think at the same time, when you can't remember the name, if you do the same darn thing, that word might just accidentally pop in your head. It's the do and the popping back into your head that causes this to work.
Right, I'm
Engage.
going to write back to this because I know that this is an anther, and I can remember that's an anther because it looks like an ant testicle. When you look at an ant, because we used to like take ants apart, right, or we used to burn them on the step. But when you look at an ant, they've got these little antennae thingies, right?
Yeah.
And they look exactly like this anther does. So I can remember in my head that that's an anther.
I bet that's what they call it.
100% of the time.
I bet that's what they call it.
The part I can never remember is what in the dog days of summer does that do? So what connection are we making there?
I found the answer.
And I know where I would go if I were, yes.
That's what I did when I was sitting in biology class as a sophomore.
Yes. He's telling, okay, so you all do the, are we taping?
Schneider.
So, if this is the anther, and you're telling me that this is relative to the testicles on a human, you're telling me then that the anther creates the pollen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the stem leading to the anther, which is the circle, is called the filament.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Called what?
Filament.
Oh, wait, I got
You
this.
can put it in the car too.
Mr. Snyder, I got this. All right. So the anther makes the pollen, holds it until the plant, until the whatever needs to be reproduced. It goes down into the it goes into the.
How's that little humpy thing happen?
It goes into that thing, goes down, and it goes down into the ovary, and bam, you make a seed. Magic.
Yes. All of that is true.
I'm a genius.
What he just said. He left out the word for this arrow.
We need the word for that arrow.
Transfer.
Arrow.
No, it starts with a P. It was used earlier.
Because I don't want to say that that happens because of luck.
They use symbiosis with the pollinators.
The wind blows and slingshot is over.
That's how you spell pollen.
And it blows as low.
I blame
Give
you.
it a shot.
Here's some of that.
Sorry, I blew up. So pollination is the act of what happening? What moves?
The pollen into
Pollen moves from where?
into the
From where?
that's
From the anther to the
yeah, there you go.
That's all pollination is.
No.
That piece of pollen moves from here to there.
No,
It goes
and then the
down
Throw a
pollen
to
flag on
ovules.
that.
and then the pollen goes down into the ovary.
I'm
Oh,
throwing a
wait,
flag
wait,
on
wait, wait, wait.
I am, I'm throwing a flag on.
Get to be a.
She wants you to look that up because she doesn't think my definition is right.
No, I agree with everything you've said, except for the fact that this right here, getting into there, you guys are just like happening by some sort of miraculous invention.
Yes.
Ooh.
Bee or other insect
Wasp.
flies over it, picks it up, and then it goes and eats the nectar.
So bees come over here and grab this sucker, fly over there and put it down on purpose.
No,
Not on purpose,
no,
but
they go over there because the nectar's
Yes.
there and that's how they make honey.
The nectar's where?
In the pistol part.
Oh, yes, it is. And we didn't label this little skinny part. What's that little neck?
Pistol.
That's the style. And that needs to be.
Oh, my bad.
That would
Don't
be
screw up my filament.
That would be
So, this center part, the pistil, is made up of the stigma, style, and ovary. The function of the stigma is to
And they said two.
Is the key is to hold the pollen,
Attract
make
or-
pollen stick.
capture
Catch.
the pollen.
Yeah.
I kind of think of a strainer when I'm dumping noodles.
No, you're not.
The style is very much like your neck. It attaches the top and the rest of you, right? And the ovary functions as the
Holder.
reproductive part,
Yeah.
male or female.
Female.
The ovary functions as the female reproductive part of the plant.
Yes.
Okay, hang on a minute, now she has a question.
what?
Huh? Did you, oh,
I asked if all plants were asexual.
because you were getting to the
Yep.
female and male
And,
thing.
and this is why I went there. Pollination happens because of little insects. True or false?
True.
True.
Unless it's a wind pollinated.
Pollination happens only because of little insects.
No.
No,
Because
they're wind pollinated
the
plants.
wind can also do it.
Cause like,
So pollination is the act of pollen being transferred from the anther to the stigma, and
that's
pollination doesn't care how it happens.
That's like.
As long as it
corn.
happens.
But
Corn.
pollination can happen because of
Is that it?
bees.
Yes.
That's it?
Wind.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I'm throwing a flag on that too.
No, that's all.
Ants can do it.
Huh?
Ants
That's a
can.
bug. Every creepy crawly is a bug. Is that it?
People can do it.
How can people do it?
They touch the pollen and then they touch the stigma.
Anything else?
People do that on purpose?
No, because they walk through
Some
it.
people
We
do.
can mess with nature.
Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. You guys all have pictures, right?
Is that like me?
Is the stigma higher than this?
No.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to be writing
Oh,
down?
some plants are like for
They're
the anther and the.
Oh, wow.
Usually they're kinda close.
Yeah, pollination thing is
So-
higher.
If I made a stigma like way down here, and then a style and then an ovary,
Yeah, just a smaller one.
well, are these gonna fall down?
Yeah.
When the wind blows them, are they gonna go up?
Sometimes.
Well, it
depending on where they
depends.
come
Sometimes, because they're really light, right? So they can go up into the wind and go for like miles and miles.
from. Either that or.
Wait a second, I have allergies. When are my allergies the worst?
During
pollinate when the-
pollination time.
Yeah.
And how do meteorologists, weather guys, talk about, oh crap, your allergies are gonna be horrible tomorrow?
Because of the wind.
Because of the
Pollen.
Wind and pollen.
pollen
And wind.
count. They talk about how many pollens are in a given
Area.
area, volumes
Right.
of wind.
You went somewhere else.
I did,
And
and now
you
we need to
did.
come back
You-
because it's all related.
Right, and I'm gonna interrupt you for just a minute. So you were talking about the fact that that right there doesn't necessarily have to go on that one right there because pollination wind can take that particular piece of pollen somewhere else, land on a different plant, create a different plant, to which Isabel then said,
Is that like GMOs?
the pollen has to land on a same type of different plant. in
But
order
what if
for
it
it-
Same
doesn't?
type
Yeah,
of different
genius.
plants.
Well, like two different apple trees could pollinate each other.
Can one apple tree pollinate itself?
Yeah.
So self-pollination happens.
Oh my goodness. That's why I asked if all plants are asexual.
Our plants?
Yes.
Is there gay plants? Like,
An abomination.
is there though?
There can be, because
They have
For
one
a-
sex, they're unisex, they are,
They're both sexes at the same time.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 there's a word for that.
Bisexual, transgender.
Transgender flowers.
Find
No,
it.
no, Ty, Ty.
Find it.
Mr. Schneider,
There's a
My
word for
God.
something that contains both sexes in the same organism.
Oh my goodness.
Transgender.
Daniel's gonna burst.
Go, Daniel.
But
I don't know why.
with some plants, the filament and the anther are nowhere near each other like corn. Corn, the anther, and the filament are up at top, which we would call the tassel.
Specify what the tassel is, because some people probably don't know what the tassel is.
Okay, so the tassel on corn is at the very top. When corn gets to height, it's gonna be, or when it has to get so high usually before the tassel comes out because there's so many leaf layers. Okay, so that's on top plant, and that's where the anther is, which is the thing where it then, but the ovary and like the style and all that, it's in the stigma. That's all gonna be down lower on the plant.
Awesome, Daniel. What's your point?
That looks nothing like corn.
It's blue.
And
What's your point?
But it doesn't always have to be wind either. It can just be gravity.
yeah,
Gravity.
These are higher,
Yeah.
and this is lower in a corn plant. And then when the wind or a deer goes by and bumps the plant and this thing shakes, and they fall, they can get.
But then I have a question to add on to that. Okay, so with corn you got silk. Would the silk be another version of the stigma?
I don't know.
I would, in my head, and I don't know the answer to this, but in my head, I wanna say no.
I don't know the answer to that.
Because all I know is one silk can pollinate a whole bunch of kernels.
If silk can pollinate and the pollen came from the tassel, then the silk has to be,
The stigma
or have the same function as.
and the style one, because it would have the style too.
Hey,
'cause it
Daniel,
needs,
go find out that answer.
And you can.
You're supposed to know this stuff. You're supposed to be
They're
teachers.
not gonna tell you.
How did you learn that
Wait,
by
is-
now? They don't tell you anything.
The styles, is it supposed to be like that, or is it SDILE?
You know, what?
Find the
but don't
sex
most,
of the
since
pollen.
most plants are like bushes, grasses, fruit trees, since those flowers don't all grow on the same level, then you have flowers above, below, around, so then wind can take that flower to flower, up and down.
And what's that called? If I take a white pea plant, or a yellow pea plant, and a green pea plant, and I intentionally make
Cross
them,
pollination.
there you go. So we have cross or self-pollination.
I did not get that off the board from Mr. Schneider.
Is that it?
It doesn't
And
matter.
does that answer your question?
What?
Are all plants asexual?
So, I think, go ahead.
I'm gonna ask you a
It
question.
can be.
Does your mom plant flowers every year?
No.
Whose mom does a garden thingy where they plant flowers
I
every
don't
year?
even know.
My mom's
My
flowers grow
mom.
back.
Your mom's flowers grow back.
Have you seen my
That's-
yard?
Sure. My flowers have to be replanted every year.
Annuals are
So does
what
mine.
you have.
Yeah.
My yard is like a jungle.
I'm aware of that,
I don't
but
like
to
it.
me, that answers the question about the asexualness. Because if my annuals and my perennials both grow back, one on their own and one not, then to me, that means that one of them can't pollinate itself. And I don't know if that's an accurate thing or not, but to me, an annual doesn't pollinate itself or else it would go back.
Unless the seed bag.
Or does it make seeds?
That's a good question.
But we still have plant parts that we haven't gone to. Yes, you should look up the answer to that question.
So basically, we need to know all this stuff. Or
Is
we're
there,
gonna fail.
wait a second,
You're from Belmont?
Sure.
while we're doing this, there's one missing from this list. There should be 3 things right here.
Oh,
Seasonal.
wow.
I know it.
Perennial.
My mom grows them, but I don't know what
Seasonal.
they're called.
Perennial.
Tulips.
Yes, biennial. They,
Centennial.
they're like
Perennial.
little, what are the ones that are?
Biennials.
Which ones grow for 1 year?
Annuals grow for 1 year. Perennials grow forever, and biennials grow for only a few years, and then you gotta replace them.
Usually 2,
What were
That was
tulips
fast.
That's
the
why it's
other?
black.
2 or 3.
Sometimes 3,
Well,
but
some-
usually 2.
Depending on what they are, and sometimes annuals will grow more than 1 year, but it's a rare case.
And biennials will grow physically 1 year, and then they'll grow the reproductive parts the next year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my dad always told me that the biennials wouldn't produce the fruit until the second year.
First year, they grow an adult pod.
Say?
Second year,
Annuals, perennials,
They grow
biennials.
the flowers and they reproduce.
What kind of fruit is the biennial then?
Huh? The flower itself
Most
wouldn't
of
come
them
until the
are.
second year. Huh?
Most of them are
I don't
flowers.
know, I never learned the flower types,
Yeah.
so.
Cause I had an
Yeah, what
apple
is
tree that
that?
only produced every other year.
Our apple tree out by the football field is only producing every other year. But the tree itself doesn't go away. But the fruit only produces every other year.
That's the other thing. These things die after 2 years. And if you still have them in your yard,
1 year,
it's the
ever,
babies that grew
1
back.
or 2 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay?
Alright, oops,
So, we have parts. We have stigma, style, and ovary,
all
we
which
have-
make up the,
That's one.
go ahead.
pistil. We have anther and filament. Together, they make up the and this is where I tell you the same thing that my biology teacher told me in 1982.
Dun, dun, dun.
1982.
All of the fathers who have sons hope that their sons grow up to be men and
Cowboys.
stay men.
Mr. Schneider.
Get it? Okay, now listen again. Some of them were not listening. He's telling you a funny thing.
It's actually pretty
It's a pun.
stupid.
I did
But
listen, I thought it was
stupid things
funny.
stick in your brain forever.
That's wonderful.
Like Trevor, this is punful.
Fathers have sons, hope they grow up to be men and women stay men. So the male parts stay men. Does the ovary change? No.
Yeah.
What happens to a female's body when the ovary gets
They get fat.
when the egg gets fertilized? Yeah. Does the ovary change?
Yes.
They get fat.
Where did that apple come from?
It
How big was
develops-
it when the pollen got there?
It
Well, also
develops
you have
in
to make
mature
It was
fruit.
tiny when the pollen got there, right? So, does this change? Yes, this changes. Does this stay the way it was?
No.
Yeah, this stays the way it was. So that whole stamen thing has 2 different ways you can look at it. The male part stays the same.
Alright, that's the way I break that down. I don't know if it's accurate or not.
Oh,
Somebody
I see
out
what
there
you're saying.
tell me if it's accurate or not.
I can't see.
What you're saying
Yes,
is that it
yes.
does the stamen only has one part. It
It has 2 parts, it has one function, it stays
One
that way forever.
function.
Yep. Yep.
then that sits there, holds the eggs, does that, and
And then it's gonna
creates
change
fruit
into the fruit. Yep.
as 2 different forms.
This changes, this stays.
As different forms.
Yes.
This,
Alright.
I have a third view.
I had that too. It's not attractive.
Would that be
You
accurate?
have it?
I do.
Oh, you do have
I
it.
do.
The stamen is the anther and the pollen. The pistil is the stigma, the style, and the ovary.
It's the pollen filament.
Oh, my bad.
It's that.
I know that. I'm now putting them together in this way.
Okay. And everybody's good with all that?
I'm good with all that.
That's a lot of stuff, but how much of that did you know when you got up this morning?
A little bit.
None.
Yeah, a little bit.
According
I bet
to
you knew more
your,
than a third of it.
I mean,
according to your
understanding.
pre-test, and Paige, this is the answer to your question that was earlier. According to your pre-test, very few of you knew anything about it. at all.
What was the
Which,
highest
and
number
part of the
eggs?
reason that we do the pretest, remember, is to figure out what you need to know and where you need to go with what you know.
Now,
What are the 2 words after pistol?
Say
we're
again?
almost there.
2 words after pistol.
Stigma, style, and ovary.
Everybody can do male parts and female parts
Just wait.
of a flower?
Rain
Yes.
down.
No. I'm still missing 2 parts of a flower.
Are these things kind of sticking in your head? Are you able to pull them back?
Missing the A and the A.
Oh, alright, so that is the other part, right here. This is not called what a lot of you wanted to call it.
Petals.
No.
It is not.
These are the first petals.
Man, that's
These
like,
are right next to the flower.
I don't know, it's the only one I
He's
knew.
saying it, he needs to say it right though.
Style,
Septum.
ovary.
It's not septum.